hustled up the hill, and he was visiting. He is visiting with us now on Men's Day. It's so convenient that you're just down at the bottom of the hill, Dave.
Yes, exactly. Like normal meetings and what have you, and I got preoccupied, and we were discussing a couple of really important things. And long story short, Michelle came in and wrapped me alongside the head, and said it's time to go. So.
Well, normally you're in at 9.
Yes.
So we got you in at 8:30, so that kind of throws you off a little bit as well.
Sure.
So anyway, we're going to get everybody's picks. First of all, the conference championships are coming up this weekend, and then your projected Super Bowl pick.
Good stuff.
Baltimore, Kansas City. Who do you like there, Dave?
Well, I'd love to have Kansas City win, but I got to go with Baltimore.
Everybody's taking Baltimore.
Yeah.
Detroit or San Francisco?
This one I'm going to go with my heart. It's Detroit. I'm a small town guy. I want they've been a doormat for how long, and so it's just exciting. So
never been to a Super Bowl.
Never. Oh, see,
Detroit
I didn't know that.
Has never been to a Super Bowl.
Would that be exciting?
So anyway, you're the third gentleman in.
Okay.
All three have picked Baltimore. All three have picked Detroit.
Really?
And now Baltimore or Detroit. Who do you like?
I'm going with my heart, and I'm going to go with Detroit.
Okay, so right now it's 2-1 Detroit over Baltimore.
All right.
Very good. Of course, you are. What are you more passionate about, basketball or money?
I'd have to say just the day job is probably the most. I mean, I really like both. I won't go into great detail here, but spent a whole bunch of money, went up to basically a business coach up in Toronto years ago. Had 3 meetings with him and wrote a massive check. And I got a lot of value out of that. And basically what came out of it is that you're really only good, the typical person, at 2 things. You need to figure out what those 2 things are, and you need to focus on that. And so I tell clients all the time, I said, I understand two things, and that is money and basketball. And I think I'm being accurate as far as on both fronts, but clearly it's most evenings there's some type of if I remember the dream, it's something relating to business. As bizarre as that sounds, it's never anything exciting. It's typically work related type stuff. So it's really important. I take my job probably as serious as anybody could, and it's people are dependent upon us to help them make good decisions and what have you, and so it's really, really, really important to get it right.
So did this passion of money come about at a young age? I can remember you working at Eagles, and you took that leap of faith.
Yes.
And it's turned out very well for you, but I mean, was this something that was in the cards when you were young?
Yeah, I started, I'd say young would be about 17. For some reason, I was this bizarre kid that would turn on, it was PBS back in the day, because we didn't have all these stations as far as CNBC and Bloomberg and what have you. But PBS, I'd turn it on at 10 o'clock, it would come on. It was a business, a half an hour business program. And I would watch, and I was intrigued by each day they would hit the stocks that did the best for the day and those that did the worst. And many times you had stocks that were down 20 and 30%. Almost every day you would have something like that. And I thought, man, if a person just got in the habit of buying some of those duds, I mean, there's got to be a recovery at some point, you would think. And so I started doing that with my nickels. I mean, literally, it was small money, and where I had some pretty decent success was with a gold fund, and it was basically, it's not gold itself, it's gold stocks. And so these gold stocks, there's a ratio. If gold would go up 1% for the day, usually the gold stocks would drop or would go up 2 to 3% for the day, and vice versa. So anyway, I just got a hot streak as far as gold was moving in a favorable direction of what I was trying to do. And I took, literally, it was like $100 and some and turned it into roughly $200 in a fairly short period of time. So that got my interest.
You got hooked.
I got hooked. I thought, I could maybe do something with this. So it really was the impetus as far as I think. And again, just I really, really enjoy this arena, and I think my brain is wired this way, where a lot of other areas the brain isn't wired too well. So I'm focusing on what I'm good at.
Yeah, and I hate to bring this up, but you mentioned your brain, and you had a health scare not too long ago, and it dealt with your brain.
Yes, yeah. I got lucky. For those that don't know, I had never heard of this, but it was encephalitis, and encephalitis takes a lot of lives, and I was one of the lucky ones that it didn't. It started with a little, my shoulder and my elbow would just kind of, my arm would just kind of take off. It was just a little tick in my shoulder. And so anyway, very long story short, went over to Medical Associates, spoke to the doctor and whatever, and he said, we'll go to physical therapy, see if that does anything. And didn't, and I'm at basketball practice one night, and the girls contacted the AD, the athletic director, and said, hey, coach is not doing well. And I guess I was, not making a lot of sense, and my arm's kind of ticking and whatever. And so I again, wasn't making sense, contacted my wife, got me over to Doc Barricat, who's my doctor, and he said, we better get you to a neurologist. That's the last thing I remember for about, it was about 3 weeks when the brain started coming back. And basically encephalitis is your brain swells up, and again, it's extremely painful. And fortunately, I don't remember any of it. I guess I was screaming day after day as far as from just the pain and whatever. Had to learn to, I got out of the hospital, got home, and had to learn to walk again, and that wasn't fun, and afraid to walk down the driveway. I mean, I'm a person that's on the go all the time and exercising and whatever, and so that was different. And my wife, we were kind of talking about my dad one day. She didn't tell me a whole bunch of this stuff, by the way, because as she said, she couldn't go through it again. It was just painful. 12 hours a day she would sit with me, and I'm screaming and hollering and whatever. And so my dad's in the nursing home at this point in time, and he drank out of his straw, and my wife says, gosh, that's pretty good for him. And I thought, it's drinking out of his straw, what's the big deal? She said it took you 2 weeks to figure out how to drink out of a straw. So I thought, holy cow, it was that bad, huh? Oh. So it was not a pleasant time, and it was basically 18 months, as I tell people, of sitting in chair. If you remember those things, I forget what they're called, where a kaleidoscope or something, the little kids have it. That's what I saw day after day after day. And that bubbles and stuff lying around in the air, and oh geez, and vomiting as far as what it would do to you. Your brain's trying to recover. And so anyway, I have gotten better and what have you, and I go back for my appointment as far as with the doctor, and he's smiling at me. And this guy wasn't a big fan of mine. I guess I was a real pain in the neck, wanting to get out of there as far as, hey, I'm ready to go. And I wasn't ready to go, but I was convinced I was ready. So he was smiling, and get on the phone. I called my wife, and I said, geez, I don't get it. He was all smiles today. She said, you don't get it. You made it. Most of his patients don't make it. And so it was really nice. And he said, the only reason you're alive today, I came in 5 days in a row expecting you to be dead. He said, the only reason you're here today is because you came out here in great shape. And so anyway, I'm going to keep it up.
I've heard this story before, but not in that much detail. I didn't realize how bad it was.
Yeah, it was really, really, really bad. And again, I was out of it. Like weeks, I'm out there in Iowa City. I started down the Quad Cities at Genesis. I was there 4 nights, and they couldn't figure it out. They had the neurologists and whatever, and this isn't throwing them under the bus. The version I had, I guess encephalitis comes in a lot of different flavors, and unfortunately I had one of the flavors that wasn't as obvious, and so they didn't pick up on it, so they shipped me out to Iowa City. And once I was in Iowa City, after about a day, they figured out and said, we think it's this. They ran all kinds of tests. They had to send off the spinal fluid as far as to do 2 different locations that do the tests. And it came back after a while inconclusive as far as they don't know what caused it. I'm asked that all the time. How did you get that? Don't know. They don't know. Bottom line is, hopefully it'll never happen again. But yeah, it was 18 months of not too pleasant times, to say the least.
My goodness. Well, you make a lot of trips to Iowa City now.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that after the weather break.
Sounds better.
Coming up. Sometimes there just isn't enough of it. The Community State Bank of Fulton would like to introduce you to their mobile banking. At your convenience, you can check your balance, deposit a check, and much more, and all on your time. Find out more about mobile banking with Community State Bank and all the many other banking options available to you. Discover the freedom and ease of mobile banking by stopping by Community State Bank on the east edge of Fulton, Illinois. Community State Bank, member FDIC.
It's time now for the Storm Track 8 weather forecast, brought to you by Electronics.
Happy Friday. We will continue to see a few showers, especially along and north of I-80 through the morning hours. By the afternoon, though, expecting a lot of cloud cover, likely going to continue to see some fog linger around the area. Temperatures today are going to be in the upper 30s. As we head into the overnight hours, we'll continue to stay fairly cloudy. Again, could continue to also see that dense fog linger. Temperatures will be in the low 30s for overnight lows. I'm Storm Track 8 meteorologist Morgan Strackmine.
Currently, we have cloudy skies and temperatures at 33 degrees. Winds are out of the northwest at 5 miles per hour. This weather report brought to you on KROS by Electronics.
Electronics Incorporated is the area's largest communications and alarm systems company. Electronics offers best-in-class life safety, security, audio-visual, two-way radios, and communications from top brands. Whether it's a one-man operation, a small business, or a large franchise, their professional team has decades of experience that bring you the best possible service. Electronics Incorporated at 522 North 2nd Street, Clinton.
If you are in need of a new appliance for the new year, you need to see Zirkelbaum Home Appliances in downtown Clinton. They feature the name brands you know and trust: Amana, Bosch, Frigidaire, KitchenAid, Maytag, Whirlpool, and Z-Line ranges. And at Zirkelbaum's LG TV. At Zirkelbaum's, their warehouse is full and new merchandise is arriving daily. So the selection and the price is most favorable for you. Be sure to ask about financing as you make your decision on that new appliance from Zirkelbaum Home Appliances, 225 5th Avenue South, Clinton. Circlebars.com. Again, Dave Nelson in for our Men's Day. We talked about that time that you were in Iowa City, and thank goodness Iowa City is in the area. And what they do out there medically is
saved my life.
Is amazing.
Yes.
But now you go to Iowa City for a totally different reason, and I think her initials are CC.
For those who don't know, this is Iowa women's basketball, and it's a real treat. We're very fortunate, my wife and I. And coaching, I couldn't get out to Iowa City as far as to watch the women as far as in years past. But now that I'm not coaching, we've been able to slide out to Iowa City and take in, this Caitlin Clark. She's I think probably everybody almost in the country now has probably heard of her. Just an amazing basketball player, and we're fortunate enough to have her out here in Iowa City. She's from Des Moines. And she just setting all kinds of records. She'll probably have the scoring record at the end of the year as far as for women all-time scoring leader. She's got assists record. She's got pretty much everything. Rebounding, I mean, this gal is the real deal. And what I think people admire about her is that she's kept it together. With the amount of money that people are paying her these days as far as to play basketball. For those that don't know, you can be paid now as far as at a college level. And she's making, million plus. I don't know if it's 2 million plus now, but it's big money. But she's been able to keep her head, and she's such a great example. What I really love about it is I bring along my grandkids a fair amount as far as out there, whenever they're available, and it's not a weeknight that's going to be too late. And we go, and we're close to where they come onto the court and leave the court as far as to go back in the locker room. And so we'll go down there, and the kids will have their hands out, like you can probably visualize as far as folks out there. And the girls run through. Again, I say girls. These are women basketball players, the college girls. And they'll smack everybody's hands, and it's just pretty remarkable. And Caitlin Clark, again, you would think, okay, I'm tired of this stuff, and I wish people would leave me alone type thing. But she's always touching their hands, making sure that all the girls get touched, or all the guys that are down there, primarily girls that find their way down there. It's really remarkable. And again, what an exciting time. I mean, Iowa women's basketball has been doing great. They had a tough loss the other day as far as against Ohio State. But I think it's 17, 18, and 1 or 2, I think it is now. So what a thrill. And I spent very little time in Iowa City prior to my illness and then all the follow-up meetings. So I've kind of gotten to know the town. Now I'm getting to know the town for the right reasons. It's a lot of fun out there.
Well, then you're going to have to show me, because whenever I go out for the Iowa Football Media Day, I always get lost.
Yes, okay.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
I've driven on sidewalks,
yes. Okay.
which is not the thing to do.
Yes.
So speaking of college basketball,
sure.
How is your nephew Brian doing?
They're struggling a little this year as far as the team. Yeah, players getting paid his old coach at Creighton took away their best player by a long shot as far as South Dakota State. So he's an assistant coach. So this is Brian Peterson that played at Clinton High. Did really, really well at Clinton High.
He's in the Athletic Hall of Fame.
Yes, Athletic Hall of Fame. I mean, he's a real deal, real stud. Played at Kirkwood for 2 years. Went out to Iowa State. Was the starting point guard for 2 years as far as out there. And then once he was done with that, then he went to a couple different roles as far as coaching. Well, now he's at a D1 level, which is pretty exciting. And at a D1 level, so that's the bigger schools for those that don't know. And they had a really, really good ball player as far as up in South Dakota State. Well, here comes Creighton basically saying, we'll take you if you're interested in coming our direction. Oh, and by the way, here's some money that's attached to it. And it's a sizable sum. I forget now. I don't want to even quote. I don't want to miss it. So South Dakota State doesn't have that kind of capital. So bottom line, where's the kid going to go? He went down here. And I guess he's had a really, really nice season. I haven't tracked him at all as far as there. And so it's been a rough year as far as for Brian. I think they're under 50-50 as far as this point in time. But again, good experience. It shows what kind of coach you are as far as can I put the pieces together as far as with having lost our best player. So
you're a business guy. So name, image, likeness.
Yes.
I mean, the athletes are making some money now.
Yes.
And before that, there would be boosters, maybe a little something under the table
exactly.
that might help allow us a little more above board.
Yep.
But it is still an issue where they really don't know exactly where it's going yet.
Yes, exactly. And again, you look at it, the stress for the mid-sized schools and the smaller schools is immense. I mean, they just don't have the capital coming in. And you look at, again, I use Alabama all the time as an example in football. I mean, look at the amount of money that they have as far as from the boosters down there to be able to go out and buy the best quarterback that they can buy. And they've done that, and they'll continue to do that. And so, again, you look at that, you compare it to the South Dakota States that don't have that kind of money. So it's going to be really brutal. I don't know how to resolve this situation. It's going to be the haves and the have-nots, and the have-nots will eventually not have programs, the way I see it, if we keep going down this path, because they just simply don't have the appeal as far as to get some of the players. And if they do get a good one, again, they're going to be lost. They're going to end up going to the bigger schools and whatever that have the capital. So I know, again, out here in our backyard, the University of Iowa, people got frustrated as far as that, as far as in the football program, that they didn't make some bigger moves and what have you. I know this year, I guess we got this guy coming back from Alabama. Are you familiar with that? As far as he's a lineman. And,
yes.
Yeah.
Proctor.
Yeah.
He was at Alabama. Well, when Nick Saban retired.
Yes.
Quite a few jumped ship.
Exactly. He was.
And now you got the transfer portal.
Yes, exactly.
Which is another crazy thing.
Exactly. So this guy's coming back. So again, I don't know. Did we write him a massive check as far as the University of Iowa? I guess he had committed to Iowa
initially, and then went to Alabama.
Correct.
And he's only going to be a sophomore. It was his freshman year.
Correct. And he was a starter for Alabama. As far as if my sources are correct. So. Yeah, man, that is a tough situation. And you like to see the players get paid, but again, I just look at the mid-level and the smaller schools and say they have no ability to pay these people, any real sums of money. So how are they going to do it? How are they going to be able to keep the players? And if they do get lucky enough to get a good one, that player's probably not going to hang around. If they can make a name for themselves, they're gonna go in the portal and see if they get picked up.
Getting busy with Dave Nelson of Nelson Corp Wealth Management. Sports and money.
Yes.
They just kind of tie in.
Yeah, and you look at the pro football as far as the amount of revenue that's generating.
Well,
I mean,
the
it's
NFL is
just
crazy.
off the charts. Yeah, we had a TV commercial run this past week as far as with the Chiefs, and we'll have it as far as this upcoming game as well. And what it costs as far as to do stuff like that these days is unbelievable. And we were in the Super Bowl last year, but we're not doing that this year. That's just craziness. So yeah, it's.
So it's a little bit more than a 30-second commercial on KROS? Is that what you're trying to tell me,
That's
Dave?
what I'm trying to say, politely and quietly here. Yes. It's just crazy. But again, the heads are there, the viewers are there, and it's just wild. So, and number 2, I guess, is it NBA? I think that's now number 2 as far as the viewership. Or no, it's college football's number 2. Then at the NBA.
Yeah, football is definitely up at the top right now.
Crazy stuff. Yes.
So. Again, busy with Dave Nelson wrapping up. I appreciate you coming in. I'll let you get back down to your meeting after this. So, how do you see things going forward for Nelson Corp? Because you guys have had so much expansion of late.
We're in the midst of adding. We think 4 people. Business we've brought on as far as clients this year alone. I think it was 144 new clients this past year. That's staggering. I mean, that in years past, that would be 5 years worth as far as it. And we need to be able to handle it. And so we're in the midst of trying to find quality people and individuals in various capacities as far as that. I don't see the growth trajectory slowing. You look at, I don't want to, open up wounds here, but ADM, as far as some of the stock price, you're familiar with that, I'm sure, as far as what's taking place there. One individual may be doing something with the books, and all of a sudden, the amount of suffering, people that we literally had a person that was in the office talking about their $900,000 401k plan that turned into about $600,000 as far as when we met with him a week and a half ago. The $600,000 401k plan today looks more like $400,000 because of one individual and one day that took place. So it's going to really weigh on a lot of people as far as that work down there. And then the follow-up, the day after, we have the announcement from 3M. And 3M, as far as their stock price, got trashed. I mean, these are big items. So for us, we need to be in a position to give advice to people and help them through some of those tough times and try to figure out a good strategy. And so there's a lot of need out there, I guess, is the bottom line. Doing taxes, doing the investment side of it, doing the estate planning, doing the Medicare type stuff. We just figure the whole package is so crucial to help people get the right outcomes that they're looking to get.
We started out the program talking about, you getting into this after working at Eagle.
Yes.
Did you, I know it was a leap of faith that you took. It was kind of family related.
Yep.
Your father-in-law was in the business industry, whatever you guys call it.
Yes.
So going forward, did you ever project this kind of size? I mean, this magnitude of what is underway.
No, we got lucky, made some good decisions along the way, and things did work out. And so we've got 3 offices locally here. We've got we support 1,450 people roughly as far as on the investment side. We've got about 1,700 as far as on the accounting side, and that's all local here, folks. So that's the good news. Then we've got branch offices in Honolulu, Kansas, Des Moines, and north of Chicago. And those, we provide a service for those individuals. We don't meet with those clients day to day, but we're the back office for them. So no, it's things came together. We were very, very lucky, Gary, I guess is the bottom line. Things came together, and we're very pleased. And again, the base is Clinton, Iowa, and the base is going to continue to be Clinton, Iowa, as long as David exists. And my sons have been instructed that this is the case as well as far as going forward. Clinton's been really good to me, and we're going to return the favor.
A lot of family involved with Nelson Corp. How proud of you to have your 2 boys involved, and of course daughter and son-in-law.
Two son-in-laws as far as that work. Brother just retired. Brother-in-law retired not that long ago. So yeah, it's been good. I don't, people say, I don't know how you could work with family. And I said, it's 90% good, 10% bad. Okay, so that's pretty good. If you can get that in an employee, you're doing really, really well.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys. Of course, come every Wednesday. Financial Focus heard at 9:05, and of course, the first Wednesday, we always get you in. We talk a little bit more business when you come in, but again, appreciate the time. Thank
Sounds
you
good,
so
Gary.
much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Again, Men's Day going to roll along till 4 o'clock this afternoon. Up next is Mick Welding from Morrison Community Hospital. Then we got the Sullivans coming in from AdCraft. They're going to celebrate 50 years in 2024, AdCraft. So it's always nice to catch up with the Sullivans. Get to talk a little more sports, Dave, when they come in. It is overcast right now, temperature at 36.